no to the living wage. So what's happening to that bastion of liberalism, Santa Monica?
For years, we've been one of the most compassionate cities. We've really tried to help people get off the street and help themselves. But because people around the region haven't taken their share, our residents really feel like they're doing more than their share.
If we're not waging a war on the gangs, what is it? Tonight we'll hear from a priest who's urging the LAPD to tone down its rhetoric. He says more tough talk from the cops is the...
Life and Times Tonight is made possible by the following foundations. The L.K. Whittier Foundation, dedicated to improving the quality of life by supporting innovative endeavors in the fields of medicine, health, science, and education.
This Life and Times program is brought to you by the California Endowment, the state...
Good evening, I'm Val Zavala. Jess has the night off. Santa Monica has long been dubbed the Berkeley of Southern California, but you'd never know it from what's been happening there lately. First, the city got tough on people who were trying to feed the homeless. Then it rejected a living wage proposal for workers at some of the posh beachfront hotels and restaurants. Does that mean Santa Monica is ready to trade in its ACLU card for a platinum Amex card? Tonight, Tony Gignard tries to find out what's happening to the city by the sea.
The city of Santa Monica is undergoing a transformation, leaving some to wonder, is this really the liberal, compassionate community it once was? The changes happening citywide are reflected in what's taking place on the 3rd Street Promenade. Even the rain can't obscure the obvious. Chain stores now stand where smaller independent businesses once stood. A few are left. The Jewel Shop is one of them. From behind the counter, Tony Ayub has watched Santa Monica transform from small town to big city.
Santa Monica was, or at least to me, was kind of a quiet city. Nowadays, all the big names are here, so which is actually it's a big plus to our community.
It's gone through a tremendous transformation. The downtown area has gone from a very sleepy, somewhat seedy area 12 years ago to one of the most successful entertainment and retail districts in a very short period of time.
But with success comes big city problems that extend far beyond the retail shops and deep into neighborhoods.
Santa Monica, like anywhere, really embodies the dualities. And we are both liberal and having gentrification happen at the same time. People who have money who are liberal move here. Nevertheless, the trends of the larger economy do force changes on us.
Those changes have former Mayor Mike Feinstein and other elected officials facing tough decisions. After years of passing legislation to help the homeless, the city council did what appeared to be an about-face.
My colleagues, in a 5-2 vote in which I opposed, went ahead and voted to try and curtail the food programs in this community with the idea of trying to drive out some of the people, make them go somewhere else.
Yet at the same time, the city's Bayside District Corporation collects fair change to fund social service and homeless programs. A total of $100,000 has been collected since the program started in 1993. So despite recent laws passed negatively impacting the homeless, we're told they have a place here in the city.
I don't think it's a question of can they fit in, because they are absolutely part of our society here. Santa Monica is a very compassionate community, always has been and continues to be.
But different people measure compassion in different ways. The Pico Youth and Family Center was funded by the Santa Monica City Council. Its founder and director says a lot more needs to be done for the working poor.
We have to be very careful in how we talk about this liberalism or progressive city. There are disparities, and those disparities, unfortunately, many times fall along racial lines. It's a tale of two cities. It's a different experience if you're black and Latino, and especially if you live in the Pico neighborhood and if you live in other parts of the city. It's a pocket of poverty, and that's something that we still haven't been able to deal with or heal from the pain that emanates from that type of economic disparity.
De La Torre says the unsuccessful fight for a living wage and the lack of affordable housing must be addressed. Salvador Sanchez Strawbridge moved from the city because he could no longer afford to live here.
It's totally becoming like upper class. There's not even really a middle class here anymore. and it's really sad because the classes are really clashing. It's like upper class, and then there's really like lower class, and the little kind of projects, as we say, and little apartments.
There's been a certain amount of ridicule of Santa Monica over the years. You know, that the landlords ridiculed Santa Monica by calling it the People's Republic of Santa Monica, and because of our strong rent control law, which they ultimately defeated at the state level. People have ridiculed the city for trying to grapple with the homeless issue.
Rothstein is the director of the city's living wage campaign. She's willing to fight for the city she's called home for 2 decades.
It's diverse. It's economically diverse in a way that I think we're trying to hold on desperately to, and not to make it just an upper middle class town.
Hold on and keep its reputation as a liberal and compassionate community.
Reporter Tony Guignard joins us now. Tony, isn't probably one of the most important factors that's driving the disparity is the cost of housing in Santa Monica? It's ridiculous.
That's right, and what many Santa Monica residents will tell you is that if someone moves out, first of all, you have that issue of rent control. It's a very strong rent control city. But there's some cracks in the cement on this one, because what's happening is as people move out, the law has been changed by the state that will allow those property owners to raise that rent
up to market
value eventually. They still have the rent control board there, but that is what's happening. So as those rents go up, people can no longer afford to live in specific housing areas, and they're working real hard to get some affordable housing in there. And I believe the city has spent something like $42.5 million to rehabilitate some old houses or home areas, and try to get people back in the city at different levels. So
and that's the rental market.
Yes.
If you're in the market to buy, it's astronomical.
Yeah, but they pointed out to me that the majority of people who live in Santa Monica actually rent, which I found real interesting, yeah. And, you know, this is just one of several issues. As you heard, the rent control issue, the living wage issue, all of these things are big controversies in a sense, because the city is looking at how do we address this, and the community wants to know how do we address it from here.
Now, the voters turned down this living wage, thinking that the city council was pushing it really, really hard. Were they out of sync with the voters?
Well, you know, times have changed. And that's part of why we're sitting here doing this story saying, well, wait a minute, is Santa Monica more conservative now than liberal? But one group said they did a survey, and the new people moving into Santa Monica, the singles with higher income, are actually saying they're more liberal than the folks who are living in Santa Monica a long time.
It's all relative. Tony, thank you very much. Tomorrow on Life and Times, we'll meet a Pakistani journalist whose question